One question kept Audi up all night when it was developing the new RS5 Avant. How do you make a better all-round super estate car than a BMW M3 Touring? Welcome to one of the grudge matches of 2026.
Stick around and we'll compare controversial designs on the outside and what they're like to live with inside. We'll delve into spec, setup, space, speed, and soundtrack.
Along the way, we'll figure out if Audi has built a worthy successor to all those RS2 and RS4 fast wagon legends. So get yourself comfy, get yourself subscribed, and let's get stuck in.
Now, BMW M and Audi RS tribes people get terrifyingly passionate about their beloved brands. They're not fans, they're evangelical disciples. So, everyone stay calm and play nicely.
Already there will be Audi stands whinging, saying, oh, that's not fair, that's an M3 CS, that's too expensive, that's too extreme to go up against the RS5. And there will be M3 lovers going, well, why have you brought a CS? You're going to say that's too expensive and too extreme. Relax, there is no ulterior motive here, perfectly simple explanation. We told BMW that we'd like to borrow an M3 Touring to drive it 1,000 miles from where I live in England here to southern Austria to meet an RS5, and they chose to supply an M3 CS Touring. We said we're not going anywhere near a track, there will be no lap times, but they thought a CS gave the M3 Touring the best chance of victory.
In fairness, the CS, or Competition Sport, is the ultimate version of the current M3. More turbo boost and an ECU tune ups the straight 6, which is now bolted to stiffer engine mounts, to 543 brake horsepower and 479 foot-pounds of torque. The dampers, meanwhile, get their own bespoke software.
Like all M3s that we can buy in Britain, this is auto-only and four-wheel drive, but you can make it rear-biased or rear-wheel drive entirely by diving into the touchscreen.
Cynics will say it's marketing guff. BMW's factory race drivers will say the CS is 5 seconds quicker around the Nürburgring than a standard M3 competition touring. But it costs a horrendous £126,000.
30 grand more than a normal M3 Touring just to save 15 kilos? What exactly are you buying?
A big bad contradiction. A four-wheeled hypocrite.
A rubbish-tipped chariot with a carbon fibre bonnet. A dog carrier with a titanium exhaust under the dog bed. This is the German car industry at its most gloriously illogical.
The Audi is controversial for different reasons.
What's now called the RS5, not RS4, is still a twin-turbo V6, but it now has a plug-in hybrid element, and that makes it about 100 horsepower better off than the M3. Except it's also 445 kilograms heavier. And because Quattro is sacrosanct, you can't make the Audi fully rear-wheel drive, but Audi says one of the hybrid motors can bung all the torque at one of the outside rear wheels, so that should quell Audi's understeer nemesis.
All that said, has the new RS5, which starts at 92 grand, got the M3 beat for raw want-one desirability?
Well, that depends on whether or not you've forgiven BMW for that. I know we've kind of got used to the M3 beaver tooth nose now, but getting used to something is not the same as liking it. Let's be honest, that is a truly horrid face. And the CS doubles down on the aggro with these nose-piercing front struts, the red pinstriping, and the all-aggro carbon fibre front splitter. Whereas the RS5, well, if anything, it's even more grille. So much grille the badge is trying to escape. Now, I know the radar and sensor gubbings, that's a bit of a mess, and Black paint slightly dulls the overall impact, but one of these in green or red is a genuinely terrifying sight in your rearview mirror. Where this RS5 crucifies the old RS4 is showing you where your money goes. Have a look. There's barely a single panel on this that's carried over from a normal A5. And they've even crafted bespoke rear doors just for the RS model, just so they flow nicely into these solid topped arches. Why have they done that? It's because Audi has finally remembered what BMW's known for a very long time, that stance adds menace. How a car sits on the road is worth many tens of thousands of pounds of the asking price. So to make an M3, BMW adds 75mm of track width to a normal 3 Series, but it leaves the normal 3 Series doors on. That's why you get this sense that the wheel arches are bursting out the side of a normal car. But Audi's completely overdone it. They've added 90mm to the width of an A5, and when you compare that huge front wheel arch vent to this cheap and nasty bit of plastic, it's hard not to conclude that that is an absolute brawler, and it's left looking the much more desirable bit of kit.
Part of me misses the days when fast Audis were subtle Q cars that you could debadge and pretend were a diesel, but you have to admit, this new RS5 looks the business.
But at the rear, the M3 fights back. The Touring just wears the M Division suit so well with the wider arches, that rude diffuser and the exhaust back box dangling out from underneath it. I don't know of any car really which is so handsome from the back end and yet so ugly at the front. Now, to be fair, Audi also nailed the back of the RS5 Avant. It's a more raked window line, which makes it a genuinely quite pretty fall-away shape, but might harm the practicality. Obviously light bar, because 2026 car from Germany. And the exhausts are worth having a talk about as well, because for a start, and usually for an Audi at the moment, they're not completely fake. Look, these surrounds are obviously a bit dressed up, but there's a real metal pipe there with the butterfly valve in it. But why are they also so much closer together than fast Audi pipes used to be? Well, that's because modern cars have to have so much emission filtration. This thing has to have a speaker dangling out of its bottom to make a little EV warble noise when you've got it in battery-only mode. All that's got to be packaged somewhere, and Audi's had to force the exhaust pipes closer together.
In the metal, having spent a few days with them both, I like the BMW from 3 sides, but the Audi from all 4. Thanks to that immense presence on the road, it's 1 point to the RS5. But to win the beauty pageant, has it sacrificed practicality?
Now, this is so much more than just what has the biggest boot. Any soulless AI chatbot can tell you that. But what I'm looking for are those clever features that make your life easier. Stuff like this. The split tailgate, a piece of BMW genius. Apparently they're thinking of getting rid of this. They've already not put it on the M5 Touring because it's heavy and it's difficult to engineer, and BMW says that lots of its customers don't even know it's there when they ask them in customer clinics. Completely oblivious. I think that's insane. This is a reason to buy any 3 Series Touring, let alone an M3. So much quicker to just throw stuff inside than waiting for the main tailgate to open. If you're a budding photographer or videographer, this is a really safe place to shoot from. It's just a great piece of packaging. Then, when you open up the main boot, the M3 really gets into its estate car stride. See, in here, you have 500 litres. Open up the back of the RS5 Avant, a mere 361 litres, and that's where things start to go badly wrong for the Audi. You see, there's no storage to the side, whereas the BMW has extra wells of space behind the footwell. In the Audi, there is no underfloor locker to kind of hide valuables. You pop this off and it's just where you find the towing eye. Whereas you jump over into the M3, locker here with wells of storage for your first aid kit. Another one under there with a handy stand to keep it out your way. And then you've got the breakdown kit, the tyre inflator, all of that gubbins. And these rails are built so you can slide things in easily, and then once the car recognises that you're on a slope, it raises the rubberised bits in the middle, stop stuff sliding around. The Audi doesn't have any of that, but BMW is thinking about looking after your shopping. And then there's this. So both cars have handy switches in the back that flip the seats down. There go the BMWs, and if I pop over here and do the Audis, then now I've got 1,510 litres in the BMW and just 1,302 litres in the Audi. So why has it lost a third of the boot space the old RS4 had? Well, there's a clue. Look at this. See how the BMW seats, when they're laid down, they are sort of flush and semi-flat. You can slide things in easily. Nice idea, nice feature. It's not the same in the RS5. Look, I'll pop round and you'll see there's a huge shelf. There's a ledge here, and that's because under here, there's a battery, a 25.9 kilowatt hour battery. So your 52 miles of silent all-electric range certainly doesn't come for free. It's adding loads of weight, it's eating up tons of space, there's nowhere to put your charging cable. God, that's heavy. And it's kind of embarrassing for Audi, isn't it? The inventors of the small-ish fast estate car have now been outdone for common sense practicality on BMW's first attempt.
One problem: be very careful sliding in your lengths of timber or mountain bikes, because they'll make a right mess of your glossy carbon seat backs. Otherwise, the M3 Touring is the superior estate car. That's 1 point back for the BMW.
So the Audi is prettier, but the BMW definitely has the better sorted boot. Which then would you rather while away the miles in? We'll start with the BMW's interior because it is more familiar to us. This 3 Series has actually been with us since 2018, and they facelifted it in 2022 when they added this big multiplex curved screen and deleted quite a lot of the buttons. And the big theme of this interior is a mixture of brilliant ideas and banging your head against a brick wall stupidity. Let me show you some of what I mean. So, unlike a lot of modern BMWs, you don't have to go into a touchscreen to change where the air is blowing. Good, still got a toggle for that. But you do have to go into this little sub-menu here to actually change things like fan speed and more detailed stuff, and the Audi's better in that regard because its climate functions are always on the screen. Still not as good as a button, but they are always within reach. Then there's the instruments, which are hopeless in the BMW. It's like Pablo Picasso designed them when he was feeling a bit poorly. The rev counter's going this way, the speed's going that way, there's multiple modes to change the displays, and all of them are awful. They're just a mess. Why is there not an option to simply have E46 M3 dials, the clearest instruments ever applied to a road car? The steering wheel continues the theme of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So I've always loved these M1 and M2 Shrek ears because they mean that after just a few minutes of setting up your favourite settings in the screen, configuring perhaps a B-road mode and a motorway mode, or school run mode and Nürburgring mode, it's all there at a thumb tip. I can't believe that only Hyundai has copied these shortcuts for the N cars. It's brilliant, but then they're attached to a steering wheel which is just unforgivably thick and overwrought. I mean, why do BMW customers long to grip something girthy? Poor them. Down here, I mean, we should celebrate this because it will probably be the final BMW ever to have the iDrive click wheel. Now everything's going into a Neue Klasse touchscreen. And what's brilliant about that in here is because you can click one button here and make 2 clicks on there, That's all it takes to make the lane keep assist and the speed bong shut up until you turn the engine back on anyway. So that is an absolute godsend. Engine start button, and then make the bongs go away. These shortcuts, having one button here to turn the traction control off, people like that because it tells them the M3 is a serious driver's car. But then the CS takes itself too seriously with its token lightweighting. I mean, I've got no hidden storage here because I've lost this cubby hole, and no armrest. I mean, if you wanted to save weight, just take it off the steering wheel. Okay, otherwise, it's a great seat. You sit a lot lower in the M3 than you do in the RS5, and the visibility is noticeably less pinched. So while it might be aging, I think with all these fillets of carbon fibre, the real metal, and the tactile buttons, the M3 does actually hold its own, feeling like an expensive car inside. So the Audi is at a major disadvantage here because it is the newer, fresher, more recent interior, and as we know, car interiors are all getting worse. It's a pixel hellscape out there, and it is no different in here. Starting with this. As usual, a pointless passenger screen. These are the biggest con in the car industry right now because no passenger is going to spend more than 10 seconds swiping at that before they go back to using their phone, which they're holding, so it's not moving about all over the place like a car. It's signed into all their apps already, and it reacts faster than this. So that's pointless. So are these elephant ears on the end of the main display, these pointless, thick plastic bezels that make the whole cockpit feel like a toddler's laptop. And then you start looking around and you realise that that rich vein of form that Audi used to be in for materials that made them the envy of the world, that ended a long time ago. I mean, my volume knob, I've got one, but it's plastic. It's not knurled metal. My starter button is plastic, not metal. My mirror controls and my lights down here, it's all on this glossy black touchpad. Okay, yes, I've got some grotesque, but at least semi-expensive sort of kitchen worktop chopped carbon going on down here to smash my knee on, but the main fascia of the center console that greets you, you guessed it, piano black, the scratch and dust magnet supreme. While the BMW gives you that bespoke M-car shift lever, which you can change gear on, which you can actually switch the shift speed on, in this, I've got a cheap plastic lozenge out of an A3. So where has Audi actually spent the money and the time? Well, there are some things in here that I do like. Firstly, the steering wheel is the shape that a human can grasp. That's progress. I like the fact that you get a round rev counter. This is a very busy screen. There's a lot of information coming at you, particularly as this car has two power sources, petrol and electric, but at least I've got an old-fashioned rev needle. And there's also more practical touches. So stuff that matters. You have two USB ports to the BMW's one, you have generous cup holders, you have an armrest with hidden storage. And although these seats are nothing like as special, they don't have the sense of occasion as the BMW's glossy carbon buckets, they're actually squidgier, they're much, much easier to get in and out of without giving yourself a hernia. And if you slide, big lengths of timber or mountain bikes into the boot, you're not going to scratch up the back of these like you are the M3s. So you feel less guilty using this car as a wagon. The details that I'd like to change, I want the seat just to go a bit lower. I do feel like I'm sat on top of the battery, which I'm not because as we've seen, it's under the boot floor robbing the space, but I want to drop the seat down. And I'm not a huge fan of the way these buttons have been configured. I don't think this works as well as the M3. I've got a boost setting that's like maximum overtake mode, which, just floor the throttle, right? And then the RS button takes me to an RS menu where I can select RS Individual or RS Sport, but not RS Torque Rear, because that needs a touchscreen intervention because I'm doing something that's not strictly allowed on the road. So it's like a legal disclaimer thing. And then I have balanced mode, but to get into dynamic or comfort, again, I'm having to go into the screen too often in the Audi. But the Audi wants me to go into the screen, doesn't it? Otherwise, why would they have given me the option of a light submenu where I can choose my LED light signature? How many do you think there are? 1, 2? No, try 8. 8 different choices of animated LED greeting for your RS5. If that's not evidence that car designers have run out of things to muck about with, I don't know what is.
By a worryingly slender margin, the Audi just beats the BMW for overall interior common sense and nabs the point. But now, which car sounds the best?
Quick sound check then. Let's fire up the Quattro. Always wanted to say that. Oh yeah, that'll be electric mode. Let's try RS Sport, please. At last. Bit of a V6 warble, but it definitely sounds fruitier back here than it does inside. And let's give the BMW the beans. Such a hard-edged metallic rasp. That is only a pop and bang map and a decal away from being perfect for the intended audience.
No contest there. The BMW sounds rude and raw and much more angry. It has to win the sound check. 2-2 then. The decider will be in the driving.
Not sure what I was expecting from the RS5, but it wasn't this. It's actually a fairly brutal experience.
The M3 is your classically trained drift artist, the rear drive purist which slides around when you apply traditional techniques passed down through the generations.
This responds to brute force and algorithms. You jab and stab at the touchscreen until it gives you RS Torque Rear mode. You treat the throttle pedal like it's a foot pump and you have a bouncy castle to inflate. Give it all the leg muscle you can, kind of chuck it in and hold on. There you have it, some power oversteer on demand in an Audi. But wow, does it just feel brutal? I mean, it's not one for the mechanically sympathetic, this. You're aware that the car, this hugely heavy 2.4 ton lump, is slewing sideways, but also it's pulling so much traction and so much acceleration out of the surface. Feels like it's going to ripple the road up underneath you. I mean, what it's doing to drive shafts and tyres, I dread to think. What it's doing to fuel consumption in your hybrid is single digits. So it's massively more leery and exciting than the old RS4 and the current RS6. But when you back off from complete lunatic mode, I'm not as convinced. Because you've got petrol and electric having this arm wrestle to deliver the usual Audi teleportation, the car accelerates almost in a series of lunges. And when you're in a section of twisty road and the corners are coming thick and fast, the whole car kind of jiggles and jinks and wrestles from side to side. It is exciting, but it doesn't feel especially cohesive. Then when you break it down, the steering, okay, the wheel is better, but the amount of feedback isn't as crisp as the M3's, and neither is the gearbox. It is so easy to snag the rev limiter. Plus, when you lift off, and you really notice this at night, the brake lights are immediately illuminating even when you're just trying to coast. Because, of course, the powertrain strategy is now to harvest and regen electricity. That's not really the inheritance from Audi F1 that we wanted. So this is a car that doesn't really flow and coast. on a twisty road like this. It's more lunge, slow, lunge. Now, unusually for a fast Audi with ceramics, we haven't actually set them on fire yet, so that's an improvement. But because, again, you're balancing physical braking and regen, the feel is a little bit spongy. Speaking of lacking the feedback you're after, this engine, it's a supporting actor. It's not the star of the show like the M3, where it's vibrating and straining against those granite engine mounts. This is a prime mover. It's, what do they call it in Formula One again? A power unit? Not very romantic, is it? So it's brilliant at being a yob, but when you fall off that plateau, I'm not enjoying the RS5 quite so much just as a fast road car. Where the RS5 really scores again is when you drop all the way back down to what I'm doing now. EV mode, daily drive. Then this becomes a really compelling all-rounder. The ride is a lot more relaxed than the BMW in any of its modes. There's less tyre noise, just feels like the car has more soundproofing. Right now I'm sitting in a ventilated massage seat, and it's just simply a more luxurious experience than an M3 CS. Plus, let's not forget 3 very big ticks in the plus for Audi column. Number 1, if you're buying a super estate car through your company, as some people are going to want to, you have to have the Audi because it's a hybrid. So in Britain and Europe, you get clobbered way less on tax. Number 2, if you regularly leave your house very early in the morning, or you're prone to getting home late at night, then you have to have the Audi because it can get on and off your property silently. And third of all, I wouldn't blame a single soul if they said, I bought the Audi simply because of how it looks. This is a great looking car. And when you compare it to the BMW, I mean, that thing has a face they used to carve on churches to ward off the devil. It's a lot of money to spend on a gargoyle.
Lots to like then, but also some frustrations. Can the M3 follow that? Yes.
But the M3 doesn't just look alarming. Each one actually comes with a jump scare as standard. You see, you're driving along, minding your own business, and then you momentarily check the rearview mirror. Oh my God, it's a wagon. Because it has this intent and sense of precision, you automatically assume you're back in a 2-door track coupe. You forget it has a 500-litre hole in the back. I thought the CS might be a step too hardcore. I thought it might be too extreme, but no, this is the best riding G80 generation M3 that I've driven. It's just got so much control of its body weight, of its wheels, and it deals with any road that you can put underneath it so expensively, which is just as well because the price is bananas. If it was my money, personally, I think I could make do with a standard M3 Touring and 30 grand change. Maybe, I don't know. The CS's steering is so crisp, it's the perfect speed. The brakes are mushy in the comfort setting, but you can put them in a sport mode and the pedal feel is absolutely spot on, consistent every time. Now, don't get me wrong, it's taut, you know, it's firm. We're not going to ever mistake this for a normal 3 Series. It's unyielding. It's selfish. You know, I would feel guilty putting my lovely Labrador in the boot. But that's only because after a couple of minutes, I would presume I'm in a Porsche GT3. I'm in a Black Series because it has that amount of poise, if not that amount of outright performance. We're not talking about a downforce Meister here. We're talking about a 2-ton family estate. Yeah, I'm in love with the M3 CS. Some of the interior is mind-pulverizingly stupid, and it has the face of an evil warthog. But it can do precision and speed. It can do misbehavior. And it's daily usable. The M3 CS Touring just doesn't do weaknesses. Poor Audi.
I think you can see where the scoreboard is heading, but let's pull over because my real message is
Buy a fast estate car and kill all SUVs. That's actually the verdict here. But if you want to choose between these two, well, the RS5 is a fabulous looking car with a delightful interior. It's an accomplished daily driver with a slightly undercooked boot. And ultimately, it's not as fun to drive as the awesome M3 Touring. The BMW is just that bit more exciting and more practical, which makes it more versatile, so it has to win for now. You see, don't forget, this car's about to bow out, and it will be replaced by two M3s, a turbo hybrid petrol of some description and this all-electric iM3. And there'll be touring versions of both of them. And let's have a think, they're going to be heavier than this car, they're going to be more complicated, and they're going to have fewer buttons. So while this M3 Touring can retire with its head held high as a winner, that might not be the case the next time we meet an RS5 here for the rematch. Thanks for watching.